Welcome to Crowning Around, where every woman wears a crown, whether she's 17 or 70. I'm Joan Caliendo, and this is the space where magic happens when women empower women. Each week, we'll dig into topics like ageism, stepping into your power, and everything in between. And today, we're kicking it all off with a queen in her own right. Me, Ms. New York Senior America.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3. Thank you for tuning in. Here we are today, a former student of mine and now a dear friend, Miss Alessandra Verassi, who will be chatting with me over the course of the next hour, starting with our heritage and our legacy at Carl Place High School. But we're going to begin with our theme for tonight, okay? And our theme for tonight is legacy, loss, and letting go. Interesting. And of course, we're going to start with our opening sparkle. And the theme that is also going to be current throughout the evening is we don't just wear crowns, we wear our stories. And between the two of us, we have stories that trace all the way back to maybe 2008, but probably 2014 is when we peaked, which is the year that Alessandra graduated from Carl Place High School. So we're going to start with a little walk down memory lane, which begins with our Women's Studies program. Now, I have to start by saying Carl Place High School in the Hamlet is a very small school district that has approximately 111 graduates per year. Alessandra's year was stuffed with 144 graduates, the big one. And we were allowed to create some extra classes, right? Some extra classes within the history curriculum that could serve the needs of the students. So I went ahead and asked if I could create a women's studies program. And 4 people signed up for the women's studies program. And we dealt with someone from Africa, right, that came in to talk to us about displaced persons and maybe understanding a little bit differently the vision of women globally versus the United States. And the 4 ladies that were in the class also worked for a shelter in Manhattan. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we did some really, really great work, but we thought that the program needed to be advertised more and that people would, join in this elective in a better way if we could get the word out that women's studies wasn't just about women. So we put it in the catalog for the next year, and we got a lot of young men to sign up for the program.
Thank God.
Thank the Lord.
Thank God.
And we thought, wow, they're really interested in the enrichment of women's history. But in reality, they thought women's studies was about ways to meet women and how to deal with women. And
that's another course.
That's another dating service course. And that wasn't exactly what the curriculum was about, but we were happy to have them. So we went from 4 to probably 24 students in that 1 year. And Bobby, if you could put up the second picture. It's a group shot of the students that were in there. Yeah, there they are, all wearing pink, because we were so thrilled to be able to rent a movie called Finding Kind. Remember that?
Yes.
And how important it was for us to get the message across to some of the younger students that it wasn't all about being judgy and maybe being a little bit unkind to upperclassmen, underclassmen, students that didn't have the same levels of education. And we rented this movie, which cost us quite a bit of money. Well, the district, not us. And we decided that we were going to break out into groups, and we invited parents and we invited the community, and the students were the facilitators. Do you remember anything about that evening when we did? Tell me.
Definitely.
Tell me.
I definitely found kind, honestly. Coming from such a small district and small class, everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows their mothers, their half the district are cousins and aunts and uncles. Teaching them to leave the bubble and learn how to kind of view other people as different
Right.
and treat other people. It's so silly that you say, like, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
It seems foreign now almost.
Right.
So I think for us to host that coming from younger people and who is the future of, this world and everything that we're facing, showing parents that there are younger people who actually care about that makes them feel like, okay, my kid is safe in this school. And I think that was the most that I learned. And, there are people you don't get along with. There are people
Right.
you don't see eye to eye with, but like there's a mutual respect between the parents, the kids, the teachers.
Yes, agree.
The school staff, no matter who it is. I think
Agree.
that's really what came out of it the most for me.
Yes. Now, let's also be very, very honest. When you are showing a movie to a community and, it dealt with some really heavy issues like suicide and eating disorders and, dare I say the word bullying, which became incredibly popular after, 2014. It became really like a buzzword to use constantly. Instead of me standing up and talking to the parents about what are the measures we could do to maybe help their own children, I let the students go into classrooms and do breakout sessions. And I can't tell you that the feedback was enormous. We had kids wearing bracelets for the rest of the week. We had kids making, we put stuff on boards where they were like, I used to feel bad about going into the cafeteria because, and then we had people addressing those things. And the women's studies program flourished after that. It truly, truly flourished. And interestingly enough, when Alessandra graduated, the women's studies program continued to thrive, but people started to say that it sounded as though it was being biased, that only girls were being directed and maybe empowered and talked about and enriched. So I had to change it to gender studies. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it had to go to gender studies because college campuses now do gender studies as well. So we are the OGs. We're the people that got this program off the ground. It became such a popular elective. I would like to think mostly because of me, but I have
100%,
to say,
100%. Yeah, no.
have to
definitely.
say it was the kids that I felt the energy from, and we kept coming up with more and more projects that created opportunities for people to kind of vent and voice their concerns. And it wasn't just about girls. Even though the boys were there to meet other girls.
I think the community service
that's
element of
that
it
was the aspect.
made it, because there's always someone or people who do need help, and whether you're whatever you are and identify it, like you can help someone.
Right.
You can literally just show up to a classroom and pack a hygiene bag. Like we even do that at my job, you know, and we pack bags and volunteer places. It's very important, and it takes very little of your time. It's so rewarding.
And coming from your age bracket is so much more valuable than being maybe talked to, you know, by adults. And so that was the value from women's studies. That's how we started our bond. And of course we showed incredible movies like A League of Their Own, and Alessandra's aunt was a member. Great aunt.
Yes.
Tell them.
So my dad's aunt was one of the baseball players. That inspired the movie A League of Their Own. She's in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. A truly incredible story. If you've never seen the movie, it's one of the best movies ever. And her street in Williamsburg where she lived with her sister-in-laws, Orient Avenue, is Betty Motreza Way, and dedicated to her, and like just a trailblazer and something no one would have ever thought was possible.
The young ladies in my class never heard of, the All-American Girls League. And, that was a breakthrough. Then we went to watch The Help.
Yes.
Which was another level. You was kind, you was smart, you was important. And they bought me this plaque, which said those very words. Yeah. And I had it up in my classroom. Do you know that someone took it to the bathroom and I never saw it again? That's the whole other story, because you had to take a pass to the bathroom. Yeah, okay. It's in someone's home in Carl Place, and I will find you. But I'm just saying, the bonds that we created, even just in the classroom, is what has shaped our friendship over the years. And it is the mutual respect that was homegrown in that community, from the principal on down to the teachers and the planners and the advisors. So we have a sound foundation. From that, we went on to become, very involved in Battle of the Classes and homecoming skits. Alessandra walked around with a megaphone probably most of the month of September and October, shouting at people and making sure they were getting their dance moves corrected.
Before I found kind.
Before she found kind. I was always judging, so I couldn't really get involved with how they were dancing and what they were doing. But at the end of the day, these kids created elaborate dance routines. They created banners and skits, and the homecoming weekend culminated in an autumn dance. Does it sound like the middle of Omaha, Nebraska? Because that's what it was like. And it was just the showpiece of the whole senior year. Bobby, if you could show that picture of Alessandra and I with the banner in the back. Like the hours and there it is.
Yeah.
The hours that was put into painting that, right?
A billion hours.
Billion hours, and the competition amongst the seniors and the juniors and the freshmen and the dancing. And then, of course, the football game was, Friday night. Sometimes we won. Sometimes.
I didn't really watch.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. I don't know that your season was a great season.
No, I was all right.
We had to wait for Luke Caliendo to join the team, as you know. But from there, we went on to say, let's keep this going, this good thing going, and why don't you join me and become my teaching assistant? Now, that required you to run copies, to organize anything that was on my desk, which was plentiful, and to get my lesson plans ready, and to make sure that anything fluid that I needed for the day was done. And I thought that I shouldn't work you very hard because you were my teaching assistant. I was showing you the way to become not so much an educator, but organized and fluid. And, she'd come to class with Chipotle chips and guac, and I'd be teaching.
I was always straight out of lunch with leftovers.
She was always there. And the rest of the teaching assistants in the building were sweating and running copies and getting the Regents exams from 1985 and organizing them and pressing things. And Alessandra was not worked in that manner. And then we realized that, okay, we just wanted to sit down and talk to each other and have a chip at lunch.
Exactly.
And write future headlines for the newspaper.
And I think the thing was I was never actually smart enough to be in your real class.
Not true.
Real AP history, all these AP things that people did.
True.
That was never my thing. So I was always like, I got to be friends with Miss Caliendo. So that's how we met.
We bonded.
Outside of school, actually, doing the student theater group and everything.
Theater,
and
right.
then women's studies brought us together. And then you would give me these assignments as your teaching assistant. You'd make me grade quizzes of things I never even knew about. So on a lucky day, everyone was getting 100.
The kids did very well that year.
Scores went through the roof.
Right through the roof.
Every Scantron, 100.
They loved her.
I don't judge, A little guac stain on the paper, but you passed.
Nothing compared to the level of the other teaching assistants who were up all night, planning things for the next day.
You know who you are.
But we do know who you are. And then at the end of the day, I said, well, the newspaper is asking for future headlines for some of our most famous students. And everybody would write something nice like, Joe and Susan will go off and get married and, buy a condo in Florida. And we were like, oh, hells no. We're going to tell the real story. And we came up with these really scathing headlines. Bestseller.
Probably should never be read again.
Yes, I was called into the office on several of them.
I was not.
But listen, we laughed.
We laughed. We cried. It was,
you know,
incredible.
I won't say the name of the individual, but there was one student who definitely had difficulty crossing the street. And why do we know this? Because she was clipped by a car, not once, but twice. So her future headline was, blank blank becomes a crossing guard in the school district. Family didn't take very nicely to that one. Anyhow, that followed with the class of 2014 decided to give me the yearbook dedication. Bobby, I have that photo also of Alessandra holding the yearbook. And for those of you who maybe don't understand how important that is, look at that photo.
I don't even.
Yeah, you sent that to me.
I don't ever want to see that again.
I love
Bobby,
that.
get that photo down.
JC leaped into our hearts because we're the frogs. So the leaping is, you know, the little play on words. And their advisor, Miss Buffalino, who did everything above and beyond for them, was not the yearbook dedication. And I was really flawed and honored by that.
I think she could, not that you were second, but
Here we
I think
go.
she had gotten it previously. But
I
I think
had
you
as
spoke to
well.
us the
Yes.
most as a larger class.
Yes. I loved this group of kids. They were very, very important to me. And, wrote everybody's college letter, and they all went on to college, which was pretty fantastic, including Alessandra, who went to Wagner, where my brother Frank also attended. And I used to say to myself, I don't know how she's going to handle leaving the bubble that is Carl Place, and everybody knows you, and she was so popular, and going off to Staten Island.
Long distance
Big,
away,
long distance. Lots of vowels. But
of traffic.
I was worried that maybe she wasn't going to find her groove, but I was 100% wrong. So let's start there, jumping off to the Queen's Court, and start telling us how you managed and navigated leaving such a small school district where everybody knows your name, no joke, to Staten Island, where everyone says hello like this.
Or with the middle finger.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I have to start with your yearbook dedication. I have what you wrote in my yearbook that I saw yesterday.
Stop it. This is what I wrote to you?
Yes, and I had to really
before ChatGPT
hone in on your script writing. This is no ChatGPT. This is original. I want to thank you for your mentoring of Christiana, who's her daughter, as she weaved through the hallways of the middle school. I could not ask for a better role model for a young girl. You are diligent, hardworking, kind at times, very reliable, funny, a great time to socialize with, smart, good nature, a great motivator, bullhorn, true, and most of all, a true friend that I will cherish for our lifetime as you move through the hallways of your future. I am always here for you. Thank you for being a big part of my life. I've enjoyed every minute of it, which I loved. I read it yesterday, and I was like, this is so it, and it's so true.
True.
And then myself and a few of our close friends and
Maria,
students,
Danielle,
I said, what are like good Joan advice things?
Yeah, well, there's been many.
Or like weird isms.
Yeah, weird isms, Joan-isms.
Number one, which I've took forever, never take your shoes off at a party.
No.
I used to be the queen of barefoot.
No.
Now I will let my feet bleed.
The dogs have to bark.
The dogs will bark at home.
Such a bad look for girls.
Leave those shoes on.
Leave the shoes on. Thank you.
That's first one. The second one is don't worry about math, which I truly, truly believe. We don't
ever.
Someone else will do it. The third one is do it anyway, the Mother Teresa quote.
Do it anyway, yes.
I don't make a lot of money, but I'm making a difference.
Aha!
Definitely
And there
yours.
it is.
And the biggest one is empower women. And that is in the best days, in the worst days. I do try and think about that.
And you do.
Now about me. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so here we are. Now we're at the point where we talk about the Queen's Court. So now this is to focus on how Alessandra, we're starting with the navigation into Wagner College, was able to kind of test the waters by being a big part of the women's athletic program. So share with us what that was like.
I left Carr Place, I feel like, as a big fish in a little pond. And went to a fairly small college in Staten Island, and went there with this dream of I wanted to work in music. This is my life. I have my major here. I'm close to home. I have, my friends are gone. Went in with nothing. I couldn't figure out who my friends were, who I was supposed to meet. I'm in co-ed dorms, which I couldn't even walk to school, and the school was my backyard at home.
Yeah.
I couldn't even walk to school. Now I'm living on a floor. Guys, girls, shared bathrooms. It was chaos. And I ended up, my freshman year, I was living on the same floor as both the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team. And I'm walking around, and everyone is just towering over me. And some of them were my neighbors. Some of them were the guys. Other people lived across the hallway. And we all became really close, like one little family on the fourth floor. And I met I met my future college roommate she lived across the hall from me. Mm-hmm. And one of my best friends still now, Sophia, she was my neighbor, and she was the 6'3",
The golfer?
No, Kyra is the golfer, my future roommate. Okay. Sophia is the basketball player. And we became such good friends, and we would all hang out. I'd go to all the games. We'd talk about practice and all this stuff. And I was never versed in sports. I was the manager Carr Place women's basketball
Yeah.
my senior year, and I was handed the clipboard for the stats, and he would have to erase the stats and redo them because I was not paying attention, talking to Maria Highland, or just like filling the water. So I knew nothing about basketball or anything.
Problem.
And my sophomore year, my friend Sophia, we were living on the same floor again a year later, and she said, you know, why don't we need a manager? And I was like, what? And she was like, you get to travel with us. We go out to eat, which you had me at the free dinner. You had me at a free dinner. We go out to eat. We travel a lot. You know, we get all these clothes and sweatsuits, and like you get to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And
they were very good.
I met the head. They were not.
I thought so when I came to see those games.
You caught a good day.
All right.
I love them. But, you know, you win some, you lose a lot.
Yeah.
So I met the head coach. He said, why do you want to be the manager? I was like, you know, sounds like a great I BS'd my way through whatever I said. And she was like, all right, I'll see it, the next day. And we had photos, and I became the manager of the team, and I ran the clock. I got practices set up. I had to wash the uniforms, which should be an episode of Dirty Jobs, is college laundry. It's disgusting. Yeah. Traveled with everyone, did the meals, room key, everything. I lived, we all lived on the buses together and went on these wild.
And you went to some faraway states.
Oh yeah,
we went some big time basketball.
Oh
right?
yeah, and I would eat, sleep, breathe basketball.
Right.
And I fell so in love with it. The girls are still some of my best friends. Some of them. Some of them have moved on to do incredible things and have these great jobs and families. And one of my best friends is an Olympian and all these things. And I felt just the smallest part of that. And I was like handing them the water, but I was in the trenches with them. We were in the locker room, and the respect that it gave me, like the respect that I had for women's sports.
So tell us that. Okay, there's the eye-opening moment that I would like for you to speak about. So at Carr Place, women's sports was fantastic, and the girls
was everything.
Generally excelled far more so than did the men's programs, and the girls were rewarded with scholarships and went on to colleges, and we always felt so great about that as a school district, that these young women were athletes and scholars and were rewarded for it. Fantastic. You go to college and you see next level sports, and you see people from different countries, right? New Zealand, and, girls coming from other states. What was the eye opener in the way in which female sports were treated? And we're talking 2016, 2015, 2016. So what was the eye opener for you on that level?
These women, girls,
women
put everything on the line. They came from here, there, and everywhere. There were girls from Australia, from New Zealand, and they just picked their things up and showed up to Staten Island, which is insane to me.
Right.
With no family, no cars, different bank accounts, different
everything
ways of doing everything, and was like, well, I'm going to come here and get a great education, which they did, and I'm going to play basketball. And, we always say student athlete, student first. Everything was basketball. They were in the gym all the time. What their bodies were going through, what their brains were going through, and the mental capacity it takes to be at those practices at 5:30 in the morning. At when you're on the bus for 6-7 hours, then you have to play a game, and the winning, the losing, it's hard. And when I saw the mass discrepancy of men's sport funding and women's sport funding.
There it is.
And it kind of bamboozled me, and also small school, which I was, to large school. I mean, we would go to Ohio State, and the girls each had their own trainer. They had their own
a masseuse.
They had, they have
meal plans.
Planes. They have food for them. And the people I saw on that team put the ultimate, and just women's sports in general, put everything on the line to be like, I'm going to get a good education, I'm going to play basketball, but I'm going to go further. Right. Before practices, they were at their internships, or they were putting in extra workouts so that they can grow into not just being a basketball player. It was a really good vehicle for them to get a free education that was incredible, and to go on and do really great things.
But don't you think that's what sports teaches us?
Yes. 100%.
The discipline, the dedication, the hard work, the ethic, the teamwork.
Yeah.
It's not about yourself. So there's values there aside from money, right?
Yeah.
And aside from equity with the boys, that are lifelong lessons that
100%.
that they're now using as mothers and as wives and as businesswomen.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I mean, you see when I see or hear of people like, I played X sport in college. I'm like, they're probably a good leader. They're really hardworking. They know an insane They know an insane schedule, and they're on a team. And that's what you're on a team. You have to fight for everyone.
So not saying names again, but when we would do things in the faculty room, I would say there are people in this room that never played a sport. How do I know?
Yeah, you can tell.
There's just no sense of teamwork. It's all about what I can do. They don't have the sense of collaboration. They're missing the value of lead by example. Don't just yell, lead by example. All these valuable tools that you saw firsthand.
Yeah, and I don't come from an athletic background at all, but I come from like a theater background where we are at the end of the day
a family,
all in it together, and you pick each other up. And like I have a competitive spirit. I mean, I was like on the bench throwing water and towels at people, but I wanted to win just as bad as everyone else.
You did, because you put
my
the time
team
in,
and for
your
everyone
team.
else. Like that glory for everyone is insane. And I think the way that the sport has grown, I mean,
Caitlin Clark,
women's basketball is the sport, like in my opinion, the sport. And I think it's gotten so much attention and deserves so much attention.
Deserves it.
That it hasn't before. And we just have to keep growing women's sports,
and I think
and I hope so. I really hope so.
I mean, that was 2015. You know, we're 10 years later.
Don't remind me.
I know, 10 years. All right, so that leads us to, how did your degree take you to the job you currently have, which is marketing for the Bowery Presents. This is her job, where she has been responsible for marketing some of the biggest acts in entertainment, including, I don't know, you may have heard of them, the Rolling Stones. Can you show that
little
picture?
Band. It's a little band.
Bobby, of Alessandra at the Rolling Stones concert, which was held where? Where was this?
MetLife Stadium. 2 nights at MetLife Stadium.
We call it Giant Stadium, but it is MetLife Stadium. There she is.
It's a different shirt, I'm just saying. Not repeating
Same
my outfits.
logo, though.
Same type of
and
red.
then what was the other one? Chromacopia? Kodachrome? What is
Tyler, the Creator's Chromacopia.
Tyler, the Creator. For those of you who don't know who that is, there's another photo
We're
there.
getting music education
Here we go. So it's not just
There
about
it
the
is.
Rolling Stones. It's also about Tyler, the Creator. Is he a Chicago-based entertainer? I feel like he is. Look at you there. No one's messing with you. That's like
So he
a little Top Gun look.
So he drove that big storage container and put it in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So and then he arrived via boat at like a day's notice. He's like a pretty wild person to work on shows for. But
Love it.
yeah, so from school, I mean, I had an internship at a sports broadcasting company. It was not in music. I've always wanted to work in music. It's been my life's goal for however long. Concerts are a massive part of my life.
Yes.
You know, my first one was 4 years old, the Backstreet Boys.
Which we have gone to together
I was
since.
a Kevin girl.
Kevin!
My favorite, as always.
Always.
And I had a really hard time getting internships in music because
Yes, I
I
remember
dedicated
that.
everything in college to basketball.
You did.
Which was like kind of a downfall, but kind of not, because I
No.
knew what I was getting from that was
Toolkit.
more than everything.
Toolkit.
Yeah.
You put stuff in your toolkit.
So, graduation came around and I was
I know.
slim pickings and it was not easy. And I didn't have the connections that a lot of people do. And I probably applied to 300 jobs at one point.
And found this one in
6
New York
months
City.
later, I took a job as a receptionist and an office manager at the Bowery Presents, which is a Northeast-based concert promoter. We own venues all across New York, Philadelphia, Boston. We work in Virginia, Baltimore, upstate New York. We have a massive presence. And I started there answering the phones and passing agents off to talent buyers and other fun people that would call and yell on the phones. And then COVID unfortunately came along.
Yeah.
And we were, that happened and the concert business and entertainment business was
shut down a bit.
pretty shut down. And we all came back to work and I was still at the front desk and I was like, what am I supposed to do here? Like I felt really lost. I felt like, my education maybe didn't tee me up where I was supposed to be. I had learned a lot, but I learned everything at my job.
Right, hands-on.
Everything. I learned how my company works. I learned who works with who deals with what artists, what venues do that. I learned so much of that at work. And then my now boss said to me, are you interested? You know, we're hiring a marketing coordinator. And I said, I don't really know that much about marketing. I don't know if I want to do it. And he said, well, we'll teach you. And if you don't like it, you can tell me you don't like it, and I don't really care.
Great.
So it was a massive leap where I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm terrified to fail. And letting my team down, that's where everything goes
team
to.
Value. Right.
And I started working under my now manager, Lauren, who is the head of every Northeast tour that hits the Bowery Presents market.
Such as, tell them some of
Such
the
as, coming back from COVID, it was Elton John's farewell tour.
Again.
It was
Again.
For the fifth time.
Goodbye.
It was,
Yellow Brick Road.
It was that. It was Paul McCartney.
Wow.
It was Dan and Shay. It was like so many artists that had just overflown over, you know, whatever from the years that we had lost.
Shut down.
Some
country western stuff.
Some country stuff. It's more country now. We're in there. Okay. I'm Mrs. Country and Mrs. K-pop.
K-pop too?
We love K-pop.
Blackpink?
We worked on them before.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Lisa? I'm just trying to be cool.
I do love Lisa.
I do too. She was on the White Lotus. That's why I know her.
And my boss taught me.
You're forgetting Barry.
Yes, and Barry Manilow. So I do work on shows that are touring. Worked on the Rolling Stones, Luke Combs, Zach Bryan.
There we go.
Sabrina Carpenter.
The Carpenters?
No, I think they're dead.
One.
Oh, okay. Sabrina Carpenter. Kind of almost.
And Barry Manilow. That she took me to Barry Manilow at Radio City Music Hall. For those of you who don't know about Barry, he is a Brooklyn boy.
He is.
And he kind of looks the same as he did in 1976, but he's very, very thin. And there were a lot of running up and down the stairs.
He moves better than I do some days.
Very concerned for Barry.
He is fabulous.
He was fabulous. We were crying. We're Fanalos. We went not once, but twice.
I've been quite a few times.
Yeah, no,
but
he's the best. He's the best.
And we get to work on special projects like the Barry Manilow shows. He always does like 5 shows.
Yeah, at Radio City. This is a big venue. Come on now.
And we did Riverdance, which is incredible. Incredible.
Backstage, that was fun.
Yeah. So I learned everything at work, on the job, and it's like you just figure it out.
And you did.
And I think, you know, my common sense has got me a long way, and I've learned everything at work.
And your dedication.
Yeah. And like, not to discount my education, I loved it. Everything from college grew me to the person I am.
Yes.
Every single thing I learned was in my office,
hands
at
on.
work.
And like an apprentice.
Yeah. And it's not easy work. It's high risk, high reward, sometimes low risk, it's tough, and there are days.
A lot of time.
And a lot of time, but we are all in the same trench.
Can you say what you're working on now, or you're not allowed to?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we do have
Osmonds.
Benson Boone. We have Benson Boone coming in
love him.
October, I think. Sabrina Carpenter's doing 5 shows at Madison Square Garden.
Benson Boone is really
he's
really,
the guy now.
He is the guy now.
Everyone's flipping out. Get it?
Oh, get it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, but
okay.
Is that a laughing noise? Sounds like a car crash.
I don't know. I just know that also, you know, part of what your business has allowed in the summer months is some elaborate vacations that you have been on.
I love to travel. I love Delta Airlines, if you're listening.
Yeah, I was just on Delta too. Very, very good. But your wanderlust, where does that come from?
I have met so many people from different countries. My college roommate was from New Zealand. I had friends from Sweden, friends from Colombia, friends from Australia, from all over the world. And my cousin one day after COVID was like, I'm going to Paris. Like, you want to come? And I was like, all right, sure.
Let's go.
And I booked a ticket and I met her there. I flew there by myself. And the second I touched down, I was like, this is the best ever.
Yeah, Europe
is
the best.
Europe was my favorite place. And every time I go somewhere and I go somewhere different, this is my favorite place. I'm going to move here.
And what pictures do you send me? Mostly.
Men, maybe?
No. Food.
Oh, yeah.
Men. That's just Italy.
The food
You send me food
all the time.
pictures.
You want to eat
What did you bring
everything.
back from France recently?
Butter. I brought about 5 pounds of butter home in my suitcase and vacuum sealed it.
Why?
It's the best
Delicious.
butter in the world.
Okay.
I'd eat it like anything.
I know.
Like
You
a
sent me
cookie.
pictures of the
It's
butter.
the best in the
just
world.
letting you know that.
And that and chocolates from Belgium and
Ooh.
best.
But you recently went to Slovenia
Yes, I did.
and you loved it, right?
The best.
And you didn't know that you were going to love
No,
that.
it was some places or recommendations or some places, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But my coworker said you should go to Slovenia. And I said, oh, where the hell is that? And then when I looked on a map and was like, sounds cool. And we went and it was incredible. And it was the start of a really, really nice 3-week trip. And I'm very lucky that I'm able to
You
give
are
myself
lucky.
that.
But what
and take
about
the
New
time off.
Zealand? How long was that flight?
17 hours, but you got to do it if you want to get there. I bit the bullet. I said, I can't believe I haven't gone here yet. COVID kind of screwed it up a lot that I couldn't get.
Non-stop, 17
Oh,
hours.
nonstop. I had the compression socks, the everything, and
Good Lord.
you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
And you have to go. Like, I had to go. I had to see my roommate. I had to see her family and where they live and what they do. And it was just the most incredible, like, gift to myself that I said, I'm going. It's not cheap. I'm going to do this,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm out. I'm going, and I'm going to suck it up on the plane by myself,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to go.
And you did.
Yeah, and you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Not I, but okay. Here we are, and it's time for us to take a little commercial break. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Ever felt stuck with a home that just doesn't feel right anymore? Whether it's that outdated kitchen or the bathroom that needs a refreshed look, Twice as Nice Construction has got you covered. Family owned for over 20 years. Twice as Nice Construction has been providing beautiful new construction and additions and stunning remodels like kitchens and bathrooms. We're not just experts, we offer unbeatable quality and prices to help make your dream come true. Ready to start building your dream home or to give your kitchen and bathroom that much needed makeover? Contact Twice as Nice today and make your dream a reality. Visit twiceasniceremodel.com today for quality you can see and service you can trust. Twice the value, twice the commitment, Twice as Nice.
Welcome to Paradise Content Creation Studios, where your creativity finds its perfect home. Imagine a space where innovation meets inspiration at every corner. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed to transform your ideas into extraordinary realities. Whether you're crafting cinematic masterpieces or viral content, we have it all covered. Join a community of creators who dare to dream and push the boundaries of possibility. With cutting-edge technology and a passionate team, your projects are destined for greatness. Step into a realm where every detail is meticulously crafted for your success. At Paradise Content Creation Studios, unleash the power of your imagination and watch it soar.
Hi, we're back.
Twice as nice is what they used to call me in high school. No, I'm just kidding.
Great commercial.
Lovely
That's Twice as
fireplace.
Nice. Woo.
Very nice.
Really good. Double the pleasure. Okay, so back to our theme, which is legacy, loss, and letting go. Okay, let's just focus on those 3 words for a minute. So legacy is, I think people believe what you're leaving behind, but I think at Carl Place, legacy was the people who came before you and how they set the tone. You can turn that if you choose to.
Yeah.
But for me, after 33 years, the legacy that was Carl Place was, I've said this before, the shoulders that I stood on, the people who shaped me, showed me the ropes, taught me how to do extracurricular everything, always, ready to coach and take on new classes and write 500 college recommendations. Like, I forget that was like such a big part of September through November, getting these kids into colleges and making them look attractive and for the most part, really embellishing some of their activities. But beloved students along the lines have always thanked me for that. But that was really a big part of what I did from September through November. But the loss part, right? And people that have transformed you that maybe are not here any longer or are, and the letting go. Like, where do you see yourself now at this age, right? You're still in your 20s.
Thank God.
And yes, and you still live in the small town that grew you. But how have you navigated loss and maybe letting go of that small town? I don't want to say confinement. I don't want to say that because you're not part of that anymore. I think when you graduated, you may have felt that way. But that small town complex of everybody knows your business, and maybe that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So I'm looking for loss and letting go. How have you done that?
I mean, if we talk about loss of leaving high school and moving on to college, of leaving my friends that I see every day,
Right.
I can walk to every person I know's home, you
Yeah.
know, and sit in their backyard. Leaving that to go on to future things, and then going to college, meeting all these new people, leaving my college friends was one of the worst days ever because they were all leaving to all these different countries or different states.
Right.
Not close. You know, some people were going on to other things, and I felt kind of stuck when I came home, and I didn't have a job yet, and other people were kind of doing other things. And it was this confinement basically of in my house of what the hell do I do
figure
with
it out.
myself? I
Figure
have
it
to figure
out.
something
Come
out.
on.
At some point, something has to come along.
Right.
So I think there's that. I lost my dad a month after I graduated from college. Literally went in to see him the day I graduated. He didn't know who I was because he was in the hospital. That on top of not working, not having a job, all of that emotional, physical stress and exhaustion was horrific. Once he passed, I think that kind of helped me move on to
let go,
letting go and saying everything's going to be okay. He's in a better place, all this stuff. Not suffering, of course. And I always say I have picked up so many pieces. Yes. Because at one point it was me, my mom, my sister in my house. Then it was me and my mom. And then COVID happened. It was just me and my mom. And I'm like, we're together all the time. What the hell are we supposed to do with each other? Picking up those pieces for all of us to be like, we have to move on and we have to keep going.
Yes.
I found my job. I have my commute. I have my coworkers at work. I go to shows. I hang out with my coworker all the time. It's like my job has become a lot of my personality, and it's like a love-hate kind of thing because sometimes not everyone wants to hear about your job all the time. But that type of continuing to move on in his passing, honoring his passing. Every time I travel somewhere, I say like he would die. If I told him I was going to Slovenia, he'd be like, where the hell are you going?
Most people
Where are you going? Are you safe? Who are you with?
Right.
And every time when I went to New Zealand, I said my dad's gonna be like, I cannot believe you got on a flight that long.
Yeah.
Or anytime I go to any of our kind of old school rock and roll shows, I know he would love that. So it's more honoring him and what I do, and knowing that I'm helping take care of my mom. We have an incredible relationship. We've been through everything together. My sister, it's you just
very
continue
strong
to
women
keep going
in that family, starting with Nona.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Well, tell them about your grandma.
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother, who I think is watching, is from Sicily. I have a lot of family in Sicily still, and she came to the United States and got married and built a family. And my mom's first language is Italian, which you would never know.
No, you wouldn't.
Judging by her accent. And my Nonna made things happen and continues to work and do all of these things. And I feel like on both sides, on my dad's side and on my mom's side, there are women who have really kind of stepped up to the plate
because they had to.
Yeah, and because there's no choice.
There's no choice.
Yeah, and I always say I feel like maybe you told me this: strong fathers raise strong daughters.
I did say.
Yeah,
that.
I feel like that is a Jonism.
That's a Jonism,
and that's how I continue to live my life and try and continue things.
Please share with them the other advice I gave you when you were very, very sad.
Oh, you told me to get my shit together.
Get out of the house.
And get out of the house. I mean,
please don't phone in.
Yeah,
that wasn't my greatest moment, but she needed to hear that.
Yeah, and I needed to hear it. And sometimes it needs to come from someone else that's not a parent or a cousin or sibling. And in these moments, we just have to keep going. There is no choice
because you have it within you.
Yeah,
and your fiber, your DNA is made of strong women.
Yeah.
That have always picked up. Yeah. Brushed themselves off and gone forward.
Yeah.
And your Nona is how old?
80. She's going to yell at me.
Don't say it. Okay. But
she's in her 80s.
She's a seamstress to the stars.
Still.
She vacations in Florida with her beau.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a mean cook, right?
The best.
And she's just a delightful person to be
Yeah.
around. She's no one's bother.
Yeah, and she's like positive all, like a
Yeah.
lot of the time, and through all these things,
And how old was your grandmother in Italy before she passed?
100 and
Great grandmother.
104.
Yeah, so you got
103 and a half.
You got some good genes.
I got some time left.
100%. So if you had to pick 3 people,
My mom,
living or dead, that transformed you and put you in the spot you're in now.
my mom, 100%.
Anne Marie, 100%.
My mom picked herself up after my dad continued her had to restart her life and her career, and
did.
still is doing that and working full time and is a grandma now.
Mhm.
I think it's my mom is the most selfless person I've ever met, and I tell her sometimes you care too much, which is maybe not the best advice, but she really does.
It's true.
Yeah, my mom, I'd say you, respectfully.
Oh, thank you.
My sister just became a mother, and I think a new mom going through everything is a lot,
Yeah.
and it's something that
And she's not in this state.
she's not here, in New York, and she's, and she gave birth to like the love of my life, my nephew, who I just
Beautiful baby
would do
boy.
anything for, and I've never had that with anyone, and she's an incredible mother. Like, she is an incredible mother.
She learned from the best.
Yeah, she did. And I think she is, without my dad, without, not my son, without my nephew, having his, real, grandfather, there's other people. And my sister has, and her husband have a lot of, teaching for him to do that maybe a grandparent can't do. So,
Right.
I'd say those 3.
I would say.
I also work with like some of the most intelligent women I've ever met at my job. And I don't know if we get enough credit for it. Really intelligent, really like everyone's good at their own strength.
Yeah.
We we all like love hard. We love what we do. And we're all just like, there's a lot of women who came before us, and there's going to be a lot that come after us. And I think our industry is changing a lot.
Well, you see it.
And it's important to not like shut the door behind us to
Oh,
the
I love
future,
that.
to the
Love
future women that are going to be in this
Love
field.
that.
Because it's not easy.
That's why you're here today.
That's why I'm here.
Everybody thinks
Not just for jokes.
crowning around is
Not
going to
just
be
here
about
for
the
the
pageant
jokes.
ladies and the people in my age bracket. This is a shining example of somebody who moved forward from not tragedy, but simplicity to grandeur. You went up the ladder rungs the way you needed to, and it wasn't simple. It was terrific.
I've had my best days at my
All of
job, and
us.
I've had some of my worst days.
Yeah,
Like, we've
all of
all
us.
been
All of
there,
us.
but there are that, the team element, and, everyone around me gets me to that. When I come home, I still live at home for now. When I come home, my mom knows I just,
Gotta unwind.
Let me
Don't
unwind.
bother her.
let me do my puzzles.
Yeah.
I watch The Real Housewives.
Real
And
Housewives.
that's it.
I know. I get it. I used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Mindless television.
Yeah.
Sorry, housewives. Okay, so we're up to the point of the show that I like to call the tiara tip, which is like advice from the guest, from your perspective, that can be shared kind of at the closing of the show because people feel that they know you now, right? We got this, across. And of course, you see our little plaque that says there's no place like Carl Place, and we mean that. Oh, do we mean that? There's no place like Carl Place. So here's my tiara tip, and I want you to comment on this. Grief is love with nowhere to go. You need to share it, you need to say it, and you need to feel it. Agree or disagree?
100%.
Agree.
100% agree. I've grieved hard for a lot of things.
Yes.
Death, loss of things, people, I kind of like feel when people leave places,
Right.
whatever, even
Right.
like moving and going away, or all
Right.
these other people.
There's a
Like,
sadness to that.
you have to grieve that kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It is one, like, I think that is one. What does it even say? Share. Yeah, I say it all the time. I talk
Share
about
it, say it,
Yeah.
feel it. Meaning, don't keep it in.
Yeah,
No one wants to listen to everyone complaining and whining and venting. Understood.
yeah,
But grief is different, right? Grief is like the reverse of a form of love
Yeah.
that you can't get over yet, and you need to express it.
Yeah.
So, and I think, and many women probably feel this way, that they don't share it, that it's their pillar to kind of cope with, and you're not helping anyone else by being that way.
No.
So that's why I asked you to comment on it,
Yeah.
because there's a fine line between complaining
Yes.
and venting. But when somebody is experiencing some sort of grief, whether it's
You have to let them do it.
let them do it.
You have to let them do it. I've lost
And
a lot of people.
share it.
Yeah.
Share it. Don't say, "Oh, when it happened to me."
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are like that. They
Yeah.
try to one up your sadness. No.
You just have
listen.
to let them feel it.
Like, feel.
Yeah. I
feel
mean,
what
I've lost a lot of people. I feel like close family, friends, like you
Right.
know, that I've really felt, and I try and not harp on the bad things. Like I've seen, like my dad, both of my grandfathers passed when I was very young, and they were both very sick. Other people I've known have been very sick, and I really try not to remember that. I mean, we've had a lot of time in hospitals and rehab centers and all these things. I think of all the best times of,
That's great.
you know, all the crazy jokes my dad would say that are probably really inappropriate. All the music he listened to. Anytime I need a parking spot, I'm like, "Come on, Dad," and I get a parking spot. And I, thank him. Things like that. You have to
Remember
feel it, remember it, and like
share
honor
it.
it. Yeah, and really honor it.
And honor it.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice. But well, that's what we're saying. Okay, so this is the closing
The
part.
cane's coming out.
The cane is not coming yet. We call this the crowning moment. Be very careful how you respond to this. We don't want anyone being upset. So, crowning moment. I also have to just say this. When I named the show Crowning Around, which was at the advice of May, last year's queen, the first thing I did was Google it.
Urban Dictionary crowning around.
And it was women about to give birth.
Oh, like he's crowning. I'm good.
I'm
Okay, thank
very
you.
shocked by the graphics. And that was not the logo I was going for. But anyhow, crowning moment is a tribute to a loved one. Here is your chance to honor a queen. So this has to be someone who you see in your lifespan, one person, that almost has an essence of royalty and deserves their flowers, and is the person that you would say gave you, to date, the best moment of your life.
Oh, it's my mom. 100,000 billion quadrillion %.
She's crying right now
I know she's hysterical right now, and probably like in my den with her feet up.
with her Kiss
Probably, yeah.
T-shirt
with her Kiss
on.
T-shirt on, or her Manilow T-shirt on. My mom has seen a lot, gone through a lot. After my dad, she had picked everything up, went back to work full time. My mom literally just became a pharmacy
But this is
technician.
about you.
She instilled everything
it.
in me.
Love it.
My parents were very strict. I couldn't walk to my friend's house. I couldn't walk to the pizzeria, which is down the block.
Down the block.
I could not. And I used to be like, "You guys are so strict. This is so stupid. This is so whatever." I am an old soul. I think I'm
Old
definitely an
soul.
old soul.
You are.
My parents did that to me 100%. And I'm like a shell of a person. And I'm the person I am because of her.
Okay.
Like everything she's done is,
There you go,
and everything I
Anne-Marie.
do in the future is because of her.
Proud of you for
Yeah.
saying that. Proud of you. So that brings us to what's going to happen in 2 weeks. Not next week, but within the following week, when we come back on Tuesday, which would be August 26th, the end of August. Oh, my God. My guest on August 26th will be Camille Joseph Goldman, who is currently the Vice President of Charter Communications for the entire Northeast region. She is a woman of great successes, a proud graduate of New York University. She is a devoted wife and a mom to the most lovely daughter named Lily Ann. And I am so looking forward to speaking with her on the 26th and what she brings to the table for our next theme.
Love that.
I want to thank Alessandra. If you
Can I
haven't,
come back?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'm done. We're done now.
I want to thank her for her time tonight, and thank you for tuning in. See you on the 26th.
Thank you.